Chasing the distant dream. Omar was a young man living in a small city, surrounded by dusty streets and simple houses. Every night, he dreamed of a brighter future in Europe, where opportunities were bigger. He wanted to work, travel, and send money home to support his family. His dream felt far away, like a star shining above him, but impossible to touch. At first, he kept the dream inside his heart. People around him often said, "It is too difficult, forget it." Omar smiled but stayed quiet, afraid of their judgment. Yet each day, the dream grew stronger, like a fire that refused to die. In his mind, he already saw himself walking in wide European streets filled with light. The first challenge on his path was language. Omar knew only a few English words, enough to greet someone but not enough to live abroad. He bought an old English book from the market and studied late at night after work. He repeated simple phrases again and again, whispering them into the silence of his room. His friends often invited him to play football or sit at cafes, but Omar stayed home. He practiced in front of a cracked mirror, pretending to speak to strangers. Sometimes he felt foolish, but sometimes he felt powerful. Each new word was like a key opening a small door toward his future. The second challenge was money, and it was even harder. Omar worked long hours in a crowded cafe, carrying heavy trays and cleaning tables. At the end of each day, he put coins in a small metal box hidden under his bed. Every time he opened it, he wondered if it would ever be enough for a ticket and a visa. Life at the cafe was exhausting. Customers shouted, plates broke, and his back ached. Yet, when he felt weak, he imagined himself holding a passport in his hand and walking through an airport gate. That picture gave him strength. His dream became his secret engine, pushing him forward every single day. Months slowly turned into a year, and Omar's English began to improve. He could read short articles, write emails, and understand songs on the radio. But even with progress, the visa still felt like a locked door in front of him. Fear whispered that all his effort could end with one rejection. One evening while leaving work, Omar met Karim, an old friend who had managed to reach Europe. Karim spoke honestly. "It is possible but very hard. You need documents, money, and strong patience." His words gave Omar hope, but also filled him with new doubts. The path was real, but it was heavy. Finally, Omar decided to try. He gathered his documents carefully, spending many nights filling out forms he barely understood. He paid the expensive visa fee with hands that shook. On the morning of his appointment, he walked to the embassy, surrounded by a long line of faces, each carrying a dream like his. Inside the embassy, Omar's heart beat fast like a drum in his chest. The officer looked at him seriously and asked questions in English. Omar answered slowly, sometimes pausing, but his voice stayed steady. When he left the office, he could not tell if he had succeeded or failed. The waiting time began. Days turned into weeks, and Omar's nerves grew worse. Every morning he checked his email with shaking hands. Each time it was not from the embassy. His hope fell lower. His mother told him, "Patience, my son," but the nights were long and sleep refused to come. Then one evening, after a tiring day at the cafe, Omar opened his email. His heart almost stopped when he saw the embassy's name. He hesitated, afraid to read the answer. Finally, with trembling fingers, he clicked. The message said, "Your visa has been approved." Tears rolled down his face as he ran to his mother, holding the phone. She hugged him tightly, her voice breaking with joy and prayers. For Omar, it was more than approval, it was a new life calling him. At last, the dream that once seemed unreachable was in his hands. The airport day came faster than he imagined. Omar wore his best clothes, a simple shirt and clean shoes, and carried one old suitcase. His family walked with him to the gate, smiling through their tears. He waved goodbye, promising he would return stronger and make them proud. As the plane lifted into the night sky, Omar pressed his face to the window. The city lights grew smaller, and his country slowly disappeared below him. His heart carried both fear and hope, a storm of emotions. Ahead of him, a completely new world waited to be discovered. When he finally arrived in Europe, nothing was easy. New streets, strange faces, and rules he did not know. But Omar remembered every step of his journey, from the language lessons to the sleepless nights. He whispered to himself, "The road was hard, but the dream was worth it." His new chapter had begun.